So good afternoon. Today is the 4th of June and we're at a certain place in Epsom where we always used to film our reviews when I lived here. And one of the reasons that we're here is because I've got Ben Quirk from Planet Auto, who is sitting at the seat of my 2017 Seat Toledo 1 litre TSI Excellence.
I'm honoured.
Ben has just done a live video on the Toledo, and he's just putting together some footage to be able to do a more comprehensive one on the car. So, Ben, obviously Planet Auto is a channel that's been around for a few years now.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how you got into that?
Right. Well, I built a website back in 2005. I went through Wikipedia and thought, right, okay, I'm going to get some information, build a website and see what happens. And my main aim then was probably to try and profit through AdSense. And then my love of cars took over that, and the site just got bigger and bigger. And currently, I think the site sits at about 2,200 pages with content going on when Michael and I actually get around to it, because as you've noticed now, the YouTube has taken off quite immensely, to be honest. So yeah, the YouTube started with Michael saying, if we stick to a format of website, then it's not going to last. So I was like, okay, what do you propose? And Michael said, why don't we do car reviews? And I was like, what, written ones for the site? No, video ones. Now, I jumped them because I'm a web designer, SEO, and I've been behind cameras, but never in front of a camera. So it was the most daunting thing ever. And Michael was doing media at uni. I'd already done multimedia at uni back in the dawn of time. And that's how we moved into car reviews online.
So what sort of cars do you normally review at Planet Auto?
Brand new cars, usually press cars, anything from any manufacturer really. Also, we do collect our own projects as well, so they end up being featured quite a bit. For example, the Honda Civic, the Mercedes W124, the Land Rover Series 2A that has a Series 3 front for some random reason. And yeah, it's mainly press cars, so brand new models of, say, we had I think the perfect example was the Nissan Micra. We had that about 2 months before it was launched. So everybody was coming up to us whilst reviewing it going, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's a new Nissan Micra. And I ended up being a salesman without even meaning to be a salesman. Because whenever we review a car, we review it in a nice public location. And people are always intrigued when they see a camera. And especially if you let people look around the car, it also helps the car company, and it helps exposure for the site as well. So we've had 508s, I've driven McLarens, I've driven Rolls Royces, I've driven one of my favourite cars that I've ever driven is the MG3, and I know that's close to your heart because you own one, but that just reminds me of a hot hatch. I love it. Yeah.
So tell us about the other people who form part of Planet Auto. It's Annabelle and Michael, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And we also have Ellis and Sam who join in at points as well. So, yeah, it's, well, Annabelle is my wife, and we started, well, I think she started helping me about 6 months after building the website, started writing little bits and so on. So we ended up being the founding partners of that. And then I met Michael through a friend called Mins online on Xbox Live, like you do. And he had a love of cars as well, and his grandfather's love of cars and dad's. So it seemed the perfect move. And then Michael started going, oh, why don't we do these kind of things? And it was fresh blood, and it gave us a direction. Whereas Annabelle and I had just literally been working every little job to keep the server going, to keep doing things, to keep the website living. But there was no particular reason, because it wasn't actually doing anything except being a source. And then it got hacked, and then we lost all the traffic. So it was either sink or swim time, and that's basically how Michael saved Planet Auto with the combination of all of us.
Yeah, I mean, you take it in turns with Michael, don't you, to edit the videos?
Yes, yeah. Well, we can all edit now. I have actually taught Annabelle to edit as well. But yeah, no, and we've both got distinct different styles as well. They were very, very similar at the beginning, but now they're starting to diversify, and I'll use different shots to Michael, and we'll use different transitions and so on.
I mean, one of the things I've noticed is, as you mentioned, you got your MG baseball cap today, and
Yes.
you know you've done 2 reviews on the MG3, both the pre and post facelift cars. The viewers might like to know that actually the MG ZS videos that Planet Auto have done, there's a few of them, at least 3, if not more.
Yeah.
Those they're some of the top rated MG ZS videos on YouTube, and I think that's probably no small reflection that MG sales for 2018 were up 103%.
Yeah, it's good to see.
And you know, they are very good to work with, apparently. So we're hoping to get possibly later some new MGs onto my channel. But the reviews that I particularly like, the ones recently that have been done, are the Seat Ateca, which was the 2-litre TSI FR, and the Vauxhall Insignia Grand Sport, which is a 1.6 turbo.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit more about those, Ben, and what you thought about those cars?
Well, Seat, it was the first SUV by Seat, and more to the point, it was our first review for Seat. So it was quite an interesting thing to see, especially as I'm now sat in a Seat Toledo. I've had 2 Seats literally in about 3 weeks, and before that I'd never really sat in one except the old Rossa a long time ago. Very good car, especially the FR, 0-60 in 7.1 seconds. Rather engaging drive as well with the driving modes, and it's got auto this, auto that. Great price. Yeah, that SUV is absolutely... Well, the way it came across to Michael and I is it's more like a warm hatch than an SUV, because it's got the power to zip down an A road and corner extremely well, as we found out under the crag, whilst a Mercedes tried in vain to pull away from us. And I was like, oh, let's just test how it is on this back road. And you see a small clip of Michael being pinned in the seat, and that's when we were going under the crag. And it performed very, very well, but it still had the practicality of an SUV. Now, another SUV I'm going to have to bring up, because you've mentioned MGs, is the ZS EV. That is going to be a game changer. Seeing that at the London Motor Show, I mean, that was the sole reason we went to the London Motor Show, to see exactly what that car is going to bring. And it's absolutely staggering how much it's changed. It's still an original ZS, but inside they've actually engineered it to go for NCAP 4, which is going to be an amazing point for MG, because that was their biggest criticism. It didn't have lane keep assist, it didn't have pedestrian detection and collision detection and all those types of things. And also it's an EV. Yeah, that one's going to be a game changer big time. The Grand Sport, right, that was an interesting one, because that's our first Vauxhall since we did the Corsa 1-litre turbo in our first video that Joseph and I have spoken at length about.
Yeah, that didn't turn out how you expected, did it, Ben?
To be honest, I didn't know what to expect. Michael and I had 7 grand's worth of camera equipment from Lincoln Uni to test this theory, and that's it. We had the best tech possible. The lapel mics, the decent tripods with the fluid heads. What was it? A Canon 5D Mark III, possibly. Radio Max a lot, and lots of lenses. And because we didn't know what we were doing, we literally just stood in front like the Joker, grinning. But that's how you start out. At least it showed that we were willing to try this. And the other crazy thing about this, which you probably won't pick up on from the video, Michael and I had met first time then. So it was fully on, and what do we do? I don't know. Let's just wing it and see what happens. And that's how it all started, I suppose. And to have Vauxhall back after 2.5 years is it's rather cool, because they've already lined up a new Vivaro for us as well. That should be coming in summer. But to have the Insignia was I didn't expect to get an Insignia, then a Grandland X. I just thought we'd start off small again like then, but then you realise that you've grown, and yeah, actually Vauxhall do want us to look at their cars, or PSA as it is now. And yeah, it was a very good car. It still echoed, in my eyes, parts from classic Vauxhalls. For example, there's lots of plastic on the outside, the black plastic with the satin effects, chrome effects as well, you see on the earlier Vauxhalls. Very roomy car, and I did like the way that it had a touring and sport mode as well. Very good for a long haul, very economical as well, and pretty torquey, and far more responsive at motorway speeds whilst cornering than you would give it credit for, considering it's not actually set up to be a hot hatch or a warm hatch.
So then, Ben, now we've switched to the second camera, how do viewers find the Planet Auto sort of world? What are your sort of social media channels?
Right, well, we're on TikTok, which was a new one for me. I thought, oh, everybody's run to TikTok, and Ellis was like, you don't want to be on TikTok, and I was like, I do actually, but let's have a look. And I went on and found a massive car world, and we've had loads of support on there. Instagram, we've got about, I think it's 16,000 followers, but the engagement is rather strange on Instagram. We can't quite work out what's happening there. YouTube is certainly the biggest one, without a shadow of a doubt. We have lots of love on there. Don't get me wrong, we do get the odd criticism. For example, what was it? Somebody, especially on the MG ones, people like to attack us on the MG ones, because I think Michael and I actually addressed it in one of the earlier videos. And it was something about, Michael looked like a schoolboy. I looked like I'd just got out of bed, and Annabelle wore big jumpers. So there's worse things said on the internet, but it was just such a random thing to hear. But yeah, of late especially. I mean, we've had a lot of support as well, and there's a lot of collaborations coming up with, like you, Joseph, you know, doing cars together and doing events and challenges, and lots more coming from all the channels that are going to be in this collaboration. So we've also got a Facebook, but mainly YouTube. Except for one new thing that's literally raised its head a couple of weeks ago, and that was because a company reached out and said they'd like to put our content on Roku and possibly the Samsung channel at some point as well. So yeah, lots of cool things coming.
Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome.
So please do visit the Planet Auto YouTube channel. Please do subscribe to their channel. There's loads of content on there. I think there's 93 full car reviews, and obviously we're doing number 94 today.
I was going to say, explains why I don't have much time.
Yes, yes, indeed. We're going to have to sort of finish it there, particularly because I'm now using Ben's phone in his space for everything I say.
Oh, it's all fine.
So my website is www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk, and there is a contact tab on the homepage for you to get in touch. I'd love to source a car for anybody out there. It doesn't have to be a Toledo, although I love a Toledo. I've also got a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. Thank you very much indeed for watching.